Hey guys, everybody here?
Yeah, we're all here.
Come in. I'm so excited.
Hey, how are you? Seth.
Seth, nice to meet
How are
you.
you? Carl. Nice to meet you.
Carl, nice to meet you. Michael.
Cody,
of course. I recognize you from the picture.
Seth was shorter.
Hey, what's up, Eric?
Good.
How are you, man?
Good, how about you?
Not
Got
sure.
the grapes.
Come in, make yourself
Cool.
comfortable. I've got two guys there, two guys on the
Can I
couch.
use your
Dibs on a
restroom?
chair.
Absolutely. You betcha, man.
Put these guys on the
You got my favorite camera guy, Eric, in the house.
You know it. You know it.
Ugh.
Are you sure you don't want to sit in the master seat?
I mean, I like the.
Nah, I sit there.
I'm just messing with you.
Ooh, red wine.
I've got wine.
Now that's classy.
Well,
That's my favorite Liberty Creek Merlot.
I know, right? That's class right there.
Yeah.
That's
I
what.
And the Fiji.
Okay, good.
That's the
I've got
best.
some iced teas, some beers, some wine,
Cool.
whatever you guys are up for.
Best looking and just expands outward is basically what happens. You're on the end, Seth.
Hey,
You want a green
I'd rather
tea,
be
Paul?
here than there.
Yeah, what
would
can I
love a
get you
green
guys?
tea. It's great.
Awesome. Well,
We're all
Thank
settled
you.
in.
Yeah, no
yes. Thank
Happy
you
to be
for
here.
coming to Rhythm and Tone.
I feel like
We're
we're
happy.
going to a show right now.
Well,
It's
you know,
But it's Wednesday.
I won't be, I'm going to be a little out there, but this is going to be fantastic. Rhythm and Tone is happening just like you guys.
Well, it works.
And I know that,
Congrats.
yeah, and touche, right, you guys? I'm really excited and I appreciate you guys coming up. I know
for having
it's,
us.
the weeknight, and I know you guys, would be probably doing a show based on your busy schedule for September.
Woo!
Woo! I'm so happy for you guys. Yeah. But I'm excited to have you guys. One of the coolest things about doing the show is getting to kind of get to know you guys a little bit beforehand, but mostly to get to know you guys behind the curtain, like who you guys are as a band, that all your fans or don't get nervous.
Yeah, some people aren't going to be talking.
Well, who's that?
No, I'm kidding.
I know, I'm playing.
But maybe I'm not. Though.
I should probably silence my phone.
Yeah. If you want to turn your phones
Good
on.
idea.
Or off,
I already
should
did.
say. Thank you. I did too. I think I did too. But I have to say I actually had a blast researching you guys as a band, because I feel like you have a fantastic story, and I know that you do, based on the bio. Of course, anybody can go to Facebook
Sure.
or your website, of course, and read the bio.
Mm-hmm.
It's exciting. I'm excited for you guys. It is interesting, and I loved what you shared on the website for the bio. Like, I've read a lot of bios about bands, and kind of the who's brought the band together.
Yeah.
And yours just had so many great stories. I felt like it was really true to your songwriting, like your story.
That's fair.
It was really expressive, and I was really drawn in. And then when I listened to the music, I have to be honest, I was thoroughly impressed.
Don't say surprised.
No. I was surprised. Well,
Thank you.
yeah, it was
Appreciate
really like, I felt like it was just such a great description of why you're doing what you're doing, and
Sure.
why you've brought these guys together. And that's why we're here. I mean, we can all go read the bio.
Right.
I get it. And we can listen to the album. But the real reason is I wanted to get to know you guys more on a personal level. And that's why we're here.
Which is fine.
Yeah. And, well, for starters, the album, fantastic,
Thank
right?
you.
And
we really, really, really worked hard on that thing.
yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about that. Well, the cover is fantastic, in my personal opinion. The
artwork.
Yes,
Yeah. So
I wanted to know about.
Yeah, we can knock into
Please,
this.
no.
I've been on radio runs, so all these questions are boom, boom.
Well, I'm going to stump you, so watch it.
I hope. Good luck.
I hope I do. Well,
So-
now the game on.
There you go.
Watch Cody's.
So
We'll all laugh. We'll love it.
yeah, they're gonna sit here and just all pin it on me, and make me
Perfect.
get
Absolutely. That's what the front means.
The Dog Sisters, right?
You
So,
know, he takes the heat.
Yeah, all the time. Even from everybody. I take it. No, yeah.
Good.
Just put it on me.
But you can handle it as a ball player, right?
For sure. Sarah and Shauna Dobbs out of Austin, they did the artwork, and we went in with it not like when we were like pretty much wrapping up the record. Mm-hmm. We didn't have any idea of really what the album art was going to be, and so I was sitting down one time, and the way that it started was just like the title track "Sinners and the Saved." Mm-hmm. Basically, it's talking about everybody's got their good sides, their bad sides, their medium sides, mm-hmm. but we're all trying to get through this together. Mm-hmm. And the first idea that I had was I wanted like half of the side of the guy just like roughed up, cigaretted, mm-hmm. yada yada. The other side, Bible, sheriff, the good side. And the way that the first one that they got was so-so, the next one was okay, and then the third one was that one, and we ended up, oh man, they sent that thing over, and I was like, guys, check this thing out.
Yeah, I really liked it, honestly, and I've seen a lot of album covers in my day.
We get so mm-hmm. many compliments. So yeah, Backstage Design is their name of the company, and they've won I think 2 Grammys from other guys.
Yeah,
they're pretty well known.
Well, now you guys got like good things going on, and you've had a lot of great input and a lot of great influences, and you guys have already opened for a lot of great mm-hmm. bands, and so, there's so many things I want to ask, and I made a lot of notes here because to be really honest, I was in Tulsa for many years. My mom's from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I graduated from Oklahoma High. So I've seen like some of the best bands, Garth Brooks, and just a plethora of them. Sure. And I know that you guys you're traveling already, which is fantastic, and you're going to Stillwater, which is stomping grounds, because I've been to Garth Brooks' pad there and experienced some of that, and got to see Clint Black and Reba McEntire, a lot of the older school classics that I was in love with back in the day. Mm-hmm. But as far as like your stories, I want to get a little bit, of that back in the day stuff, because I know you guys from a little bit of what I was able to find out about you. You guys grew up. Your dad was a pastor.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Me and Seth. Us. Yep.
And you started drums early.
When I was about 6 years old.
Yeah.
I started.
So talk a little bit about that, because who influenced you to do that?
We have a private academy at the church, and we all went to that as little kids. And afterwards, because our mom and dads worked at the church, they'd be there till 4 or 5 o'clock. School gets out at 3. So I'd go in the sanctuary and just kind of mess around on the drums, and it kind of came naturally. I had the framework, just didn't have the structure down yet, and I got a drum lesson from the main drummer who was at the church at that time, and me being so young, I just was kind of a fill-in guy, and he gave me one lesson. He said, "There's really nothing I could teach you. You just have to do it. You have to play it." He
put in the time, right?
Gave me the counting, 1, 2, 3, 4, all that good stuff, and said, "You just have to play." And I really owe a lot to my mom, because when I was little, I was super shy. And I did not want to get up in front of all those people and play the drums. But she would make me do it. She kept making me do it. So when I was 10 and 12, and then finally about 13 or 14, I was the main drummer, and every Sunday until I was...
For a really long time.
Even when I was in college, I came back every weekend on Sunday. Until we moved here is really the only time that I didn't play every Sunday. So that was,
So you got your experience there.
I did.
On the stage.
I've been drumming now for
week
20
in,
years,
week out.
Yeah, that's right. Every week, at least once. Then when we got in youth, I'd play for the youth too. And any time we had some kind of special speaker coming, we played too. So sometimes I'd be playing 2-3 times a week. I loved it, though. I'm really glad my mom made me do it.
Right? I talk about that all the time. I had to take piano and violin, and I hated it when I was younger. But look where we're at, right?
That's right. Sure. That's right.
Yeah,
I love playing. I just so shy. I didn't want to get in front of those people. But it's better now.
And now thank you for sharing
No
that.
problem.
I know that you have just you've got the dream story thus far. I hate to say it a little bit,
To
but
a point.
when I read it, I was just like, I'm happy for you guys, all of you guys. I mean, just the success that you're already having. And what I loved about it, and it's not that you're like, older or anything, you are, young cats, right?
Yes.
And doing what you love, but don't get me started on that, but I just loved the transition that you made from what you were going to be doing or what you thought you'd be doing, and just the call of music and how you transferred over.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really just a fantastic story. That's why I wanted you guys to be here, because I feel like it just says, you know what? Life leads you on these roads, and when you have an opportunity.
Take it.
Yeah, so
Might as
just
well.
tell me a little bit about that transition, because that was just fascinating to me.
Yeah, so this was all before, obviously, Michael and Carl.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother was, doing up his drums, but for him too, athletics for us was just in our blood.
Yeah.
We just did athletics. I mean, we didn't really know anything else. Our dad, he sang in some gospel quartets back in the day, and he did the touring and traveling, and that was all great, but music for me, I just didn't really care. I like listening to it, obviously, but I'd rather go outside and play anything than pick up, an instrument. So I started, doing that, and then, if you read in the Bible, like college, when I was doing that, I picked up a guitar and started playing it. Got the chord chart from Walmart, and just started.
And you learned your G.
Yeah, started just putting my fingers where that thing goes, and I just started doing it.
Because you were on track for ball, right?
Yeah, when I was playing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like pretty hardcore,
So,
right? It was kind of like that was.
I was doing that, and just things changed here and there, but I never quit.
Where were
like
you playing college ball?
in Oklahoma.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
That's right.
and so we were doing all that, and I just never stopped playing guitar and would do that no matter what, and little by little just figured it out and did it, and I didn't start singing for quite a while. I just never thought that was going to ever be the case. My dad sure as heck never thought, hey, he's going to sing one lick of
nobody
notes.
did.
Because most
And
times,
he's like, you want a guitar? What?
he's like,
Exactly.
why? He's like, why?
It was funny because when he asked for a guitar, they're like,
Like, why?
"Are you sure
Why?
this is what you want for your Christmas
I know.
present?"
I
Like,
found
it
that.
sounds
I found
good,
that funny
but-
because every kid's kind of started out, kind of that stuff.
If I-
like
now looking
something
back,
they're
I'm like,
plinking
man, I sure
on,
wish
and
I
they're
was-
like, "Dang, shit, I can do this." You know?
Right, yeah.
We're like, Michael, you started when you were like,
Really little.
see,
Yeah,
yeah.
young,
And then
yeah.
Carl, you had a feel in your hand since,
3.
yeah.
Yeah.
See, and I didn't start playing guitar till I was 19 years old. And sure as heck didn't start singing till like 20.
It was at least
So-
a year of solid playing because he started playing with me in the church band, and then
You guys weren't playing country music.
No, we honestly didn't even really listen to country music. Is the funny thing because we heard a couple of the bigger like Red Dirt country Texas country songs.
you guys
But
worked
the
with them.
majority
Yeah.
of it was just kind of getting going, and it hadn't quite reached us yet. Not where we were living. Mm-hmm. So
So, Carl, you spent my whole life in front of a fiddle player. Well, not.
Well, that's cool because I don't play the fiddle. I play the violin.
yeah, don't
Well,
get it wrong.
no. I was just gonna. I was actually making a joke because my dad does not play fiddle. He plays rock and roll violin,
Right.
and so I always am just excited to hear about that journey because that is not the everyday instrument, and it's hella hard to learn, and it takes a tremendous amount of
It's
dedication.
really easy, actually.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I just spent all those years when I played. It's easy.
Says the 145 Texas country.
It's so. So tell me a little bit about your
Well, you
journey.
don't have enough time for this interview to get all that stuff. But I started when I was 3. I played Carnegie 6 times when I was 13. I went to Juilliard Pre-College. I studied classical all the way. Been to Europe to play classical. Travel around the country. when I was 14, my buddies took me to see the Grateful Dead, and it was all downhill from there. And fast forward another 35 years, and here I am in Austin, Texas.
Yep.
Meet up with this guy, and the rest is history. And to be honest with you, I'd never heard, seen, or played a lick of country music before I joined this band. Like, unless it was the Allman Brothers or the Grateful Dead or
It
something
really
like
is
that.
true.
It was
Which
true.
isn't bad.
Yeah, and it's true. So
No,
I
actually
really,
love that. This is why
it's
this is
cool,
the raw, real, and exposed. That's what fans want to know
Right,
is who
right.
you are and how. I mean,
Well, who I am is a guy from Asheville, North Carolina that used to hang out with a bunch of hippies and play jam rock, And here I am in Texas, and everybody's like, there's no jam rock in Texas. And I'm like, okay, well, then I better play country, right? So, luckily, I hooked up with these guys who are a little bit more tolerant probably than the rest of these guys around the area, and it's worked out pretty nicely, I'd like to think,
Well, it's kind of nice to get like a little bit of both because you hear in a lot of these country bands you hear the same kind of and I've always loved fiddle. I've played with a lot of fiddle players growing up, but it's kind of nice to get a mix of both. Because he's kind of got a little fiddle influence now because we've played with all these groups and he's heard these other guys and he's kind of brought that in, but he's still got the classical feel.
indeed, and then the old school because I grew up with that whole thing. It's a Beautiful Day. Moby Grape and you know what I mean, Grateful Dead. That's when I was dancing and as a kid, right? That's what I grew up with, and I heard that, and I heard with I also appreciated you've got that nice blend of the traditional country, but you've also got that nice blend of rock going, and I heard some of that in the guitar stuff too. I felt like it was that great mix of
It's a little folky.
but low rock.
Yep.
It's got that
Little
modern
country in
flavor to it, and that would explain it. So you all bring perfect dynamics.
Appreciate that.
As opposed to it just being like, okay, that all we've ever done is country.
Yeah.
And see, and that's what I liked, that's what I heard, is that there are flavors, which I thought, I think that's why you guys are doing so much.
Tap into that.
Yeah.
That's why we're looking forward to the next record because you never know.
When we drive down the road, we don't ever listen to the same thing. Every one of us kind of has our own kind of music that they listen to. So it's kind of nice. Cody listens more.
My sappy sad.
He's into more of the songwriter stuff. I'm kind of into me and Carl are into a lot of the same kind of music. We like a lot of the Allman Brothers, and I have a lot of blues influence. And
we like on the Texas Country app.
Yeah, so so we hear all the old the classic country. We're kind of influenced by all that.
Yeah. So share a little bit about your upbringing.
So mine's kind of like Carl's. I grew up underneath my dad's bass drum, so my dad's played in bands his whole life, and every Friday, Saturday night when I was growing up, my dad was go play. He played in a dance band. So back in that time, there was a lot of bands that played VFW halls, and they played a lot of wedding dances and stuff, and they'd play the 4-hour sets and play all night long, and he'd get in late, and he would so I got to go to a few of those shows and stuff, and go and hear him play, and they had me. He started out. He's a drummer, so he started me out on the drums when I was. I got my first full set when I was like 2, and so I was playing drums for a long time, and but I always had like the influence of. He would always, since he wasn't there on Saturday night, they would record. He would record Austin City Limits on on tape. So I would have all these VHSs, and I would want to watch Stevie Ray Vaughan at the end of the night, before I went to bed. So I had a lot of these influences growing up, and I always liked the guitar, and I picked around with some cowboy chords and stuff, but it wasn't really till I was in college I started playing, a little more seriously taking the lead guitar a little more seriously, and I always sang, and I kind of always played all the instruments. My mom had me on in piano lessons when I was, since I was a little kid, so I played piano took lessons for 9 or 10 years, and kind of got a sense playing everything, everything from bass guitar with these guys when I first started out.
Yeah, you started out with us on bass.
They suckered me into playing bass.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa.
So, anyways, yeah, just kind of went from there and played a lot in college, and then started playing with these guys and enjoyed them. And for me, it's more about the guys I'm playing with more than
Understood.
than anything else. It's got to be a good hang, and these guys are all my best friends, so we're brothers. You know, so that helps out a lot, and I think it comes out in the music.
Absolutely, you can tell when a band's together, and that's I'm going to lead to that question. I mean, how did you guys? Now I know a couple of you guys moved out from Austin.
So me and Seth,
yeah,
and then our other old guitar player, we three came down.
Gotcha.
And then we were here, and we started we came down clueless about this scene. Like, we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into.
Yeah.
I literally thought we were going to, I should have known better, but we literally thought we were going to walk in here and just take over. And we idiots.
Well, no offense, but you did have a pretty good start, okay?
Athletically, that mindset for me and him both, we just go in winning.
Well, sometimes that naive kind of mentality, you don't get stuck in your
also
own
true. But
perceptions,
I was quickly
right?
humbled and brought down to earth very quickly. And the first time that I really got, I'll call it slapped in the face, was when I went to Cheatham Street Warehouse, and there was this band playing on a Tuesday, and I remember the night. It was raining. We went in there and we were playing pool, and I was like, man, this band's good, but I feel like we could do this. So I walked up to the bar staff and I was like, how do you book in here at this Cheatham Street Warehouse? How do you get in? Well, you see that guy over there with the red bandana? His name's Kent, which is Kent Finley. Mm-hmm. Go over there and talk to him and ask him. So I'm like, oh yeah, I've heard of him. I know.
Oh, he's sitting in the same spot.
Sitting in that.
You're
corner.
like, yeah, no worries.
Right
I'm just
there.
gonna prance right up there.
Well, yeah. I don't know. I've never met you, so you don't know me. Like, hey, what's
Legendary
up? How's it going?
guy.
Right, I know, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
hello,
yeah.
right.
We know
Which I love
straight.
that. I love that.
And I've heard of Kent, but I didn't know him. I didn't know him, so I'm a little boy from the Panhandle. I walked over and said, "Hi, Kent. My name's Cody Sparks. I would like to know how to play at your venue." And he was like, "Well, hey, Cody, nice to meet you. Do you write your own songs?" And I was like, "Well, no, not. I mean, kind of. We've got a bunch of covers we could play." He's like, "No, do you write your own songs?" And I was like, "Again, no, not really." He's like, "Listen, write some songs and come back. Come do our singer-songwriter circle on a Wednesday and blah, blah." And that, to me, was like, okay, this is
Game
how,
on.
Yeah,
Serious time.
you've got to write your own music to do anything.
Right.
So you don't want to be that cover band. So I went home. That was Set in the West. It was the first song ever written for pretty much that type of genre. So thank you, Kent Finley, for the kick,
Yeah, like, dude, get some shit to...
Right. So, and
He was nice about it, at least.
at least he was
Yeah,
nice.
he's just straight up, right?
Yeah, he could have ripped you apart.
Right.
Oh.
And he could've been-
Unfortunately, he passed before our stuff ever really got out, which is, a real bummer. But he
made an influence,
Sure.
which is
but
so
and every
cool.
time we talk about it, people think that's a great story. So
It is a great story.
Right, so-
And so, before I talk about the creative process and how you've managed to get all these songs together, tell me real quick how you guys ultimately came together. Because the sound is
Yeah, we rabbit trailed,
fantastic,
didn't we?
and
There we go.
So me and Seth moved down here, like we were saying,
yeah,
and then Michael, we ended up picking through one of me and Seth's mutual friends. They met, and she introduced Michael to us, and randomly, and she was like, "Look, y'all are gonna love him. Y'all are gonna hit it off immediately and click."
And I didn't want to. I
And-
was like,
yeah, he
I
was
was like,
like,
nah, I was doing my own band at the time, and then,
okay.
So
Yeah.
Monica was like,
You need to.
you need to play with these guys. They're really cool. I go out and hear them every night. She was one of their. When we started, these guys were playing. We played one bar.
Pretty much,
in
yeah,
Pflugerville.
for the most part.
And
yeah.
and she was like, "You got to go sit in with them. They're great guys." And I said, "Okay, fine."
And at the time, at the time,
I didn't play bass.
At the time, we had a bass player, and he was like, "Well, I
know those
can
dang
play
bass players.
I can
They're
play
hard to
bass."
find, aren't they?
I can't.
Yeah, I know. I'm in church myself.
So Michael was like, "Yeah, I can play bass." And I remember he walked in with this dang old amp that.
It's my dad's bass player.
God, what was the name of that amp?
The custom
pleated,
pleated, custom rolled
and I'm just
from
like,
the 70s.
"Oh God, what? This is gonna be fun." But we got up there, and
No faith.
I don't think anybody has faith in anybody. We were playing this little bar in Pflugerville called Uncle Gary's, and we sat in there and just practiced, and we just played. and we
Nobody
really
gave
did
a
it.
crap. But
No,
what
and
was that?
everybody.
Well, you have to lose, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but the deal is, we started getting the following and like kind of packing that place out by the end of the times we started playing there.
It's funny because it made us the designated band for biker night. And, you know,
We're all trying to play
Thursdays,
country.
we're like, we don't play that type of music.
I'm looking at him. I'm like, dude, if we don't play a ZZ Top song,
Right.
you're
No,
No,
I
no,
was
you
gonna
did
say,
that.
like, is that that's a very specific genre? I'm guessing, right?
But they were all real
Yeah.
accepting. I mean,
And
they
the funny
loved
thing
it.
was we started packing the whole place out.
Yeah.
Started
you
doing it
couldn't
on those
get it. Like, it wasn't
Thursdays.
very big, but people would come. They had a little outside area that you could sit.
So then
He
we were
bumped
thinking,
us from Thursdays to Fridays to like
Because you guys were
Saturdays.
well,
And
they
for
know.
the bigger things like New Year's Eve parties and stuff. He'd have us like no
We did
thought
that
about
New
it.
Year's
so
one.
we got the bug. We got the bug.
We
there.
did, and yeah, we did. We did. We really did get it. And it's funny because what we were doing, we didn't know where. At the time, we were just having fun. Like
Yeah.
we were literally having
Had a great
fun.
bar tab, and that was.
Great.
it's really-
I know, right? Play for the drinks.
So
Yeah.
but the funny thing is about the bikers is that a lot of shows nowadays, some of those bikers still come out,
still
and if we
come
see
out.
them, they say hi, and they're
Gotta love
buds
it.
of ours. So
That's kind of the beauty of us.
Oh, I love it. And we play at the Harley shop some still. So they call us somewhere, can you come play this Harley,
Oh,
you know,
that's cool.
fest thingy,
That's
and
cool.
we'll go do that. So
Oh, they're the greatest. They've been. I mean, they try to come out to anything they can, and they always say hi. Yeah, we love them.
Carl, where's he
Yeah,
coming
I want to hear.
Oh,
Carl.
yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, man.
So Carl's the most recent addition,
Yes.
and which we're very, very thankful for.
So,
We do.
Carl,
We
I
love
want to
Carl.
hear. I want to hear your interpretation of how you landed with these fine folks. Okay, because you've got
Carl.
stories. I know for a fact.
He'll
I
never
can
put a
see it
he'll
in
never
your
put an ad on
eye.
Craigslist
Did Eric
again.
tell you?
No, no. We did not get a chance to chat.
No,
about
I
it.
mean,
Carnegie
so-
to Craigslist.
From Carnegie to Craigslist, exactly. So I came to Austin. I mean, I'm just going to be real honest with you. I came to Austin to clean up. I was on the road for a long time. I got into some bad stuff.
Yep.
There's a couple organizations here that work with professional musicians. They said, come to Austin. I said, great, I'll come to Austin. Then I found out it's all country music, and I'm like, gosh. what am I gonna
Well, it's
do
not
now?
all country music.
Well, it's mostly country music, and if it's not country music, it's Western music, you know? So it's one of those-
or Americana.
Basically, what he
Some
said.
genre of
Basically, what he said is when he moved to Austin, he started playing the fiddle,
Right.
not the violin.
Exactly, yeah. They've made me
You know,
quit.
I understand. Yeah, there's a small. Yeah, I think that most. Well, from all the folks that travel, I think they almost kind of expect to have that experience, and I do think it's growing, but it is a trickier market.
Oh, yeah,
in
for sure.
regards because
So
you know
I-
my band is not country, and I don't expect to make any money, but that's okay.
It's okay. I'm totally okay with it. You know, I never got. You know what? I never got into the music business to make money anyway. I mean, I've learned the hard way that if that's what you're looking for, you're gonna have a resentment your entire life
I know.
because probably ain't gonna happen. At least you know,
I
not for a
totally
while.
get it.
So anyway,
So you rolled in
I roll in
town.
town. I'm looking for a gig, but I don't want full time 180 dates a year road yet. I mean, I'm still like working on self, doing some stuff. With
Yeah, you're getting.
So
You're
I
like.
want weekends and some good times with some guys that aren't complete screw ups like the other bands that I played with. And like
Yeah, you're looking for a quality gig, right?
a
You
quality
want,
gig.
yeah,
Good guys,
you want
with a
something that's
direction.
going somewhere.
Well, I can hop in,
Uh-huh.
kind of at that perfect point to build things with. You know? So man, I saw this is crazy because nothing good has ever come out of Craigslist. I mean, I've gotten ripped off for cars.
I've only had
cell
one
phones,
great
whatever.
experience, and it's my longtime drummer from
It's
Craigslist,
crazy.
and that's it.
It's crazy. Like you can't make this stuff up. So he gets in touch with me. I think I put an ad up or he put an ad up.
You
or
did.
something.
I never do
Yeah.
Craigslist.
And so he's like, tell the story, because I was like putting who
You were
I
hard
played
up.
with. Yeah,
Well,
they were hard up too.
Well,
Thank you, Michael.
By then,
It makes
yeah.
me feel better.
Two desperate souls come together.
But
I'm just
at that
kidding.
time, it wasn't like
This is
a
classic.
long time ago. I had looked. We had our fiddle player Wes for a while with us, and then he moved on to play with another group, and so we were kind of just.
We were working in some steel guitar. We
Trying
had
to
Pat
figure
lines
out-
on steel, and then
We know what we wanted for sound,
yeah,
Yep.
and
it's always good to have two lead
right,
instruments. in a
and so
country,
we knew like,
this
hey,
kind of band.
the way that my writing even is fiddle wise, it just feels it. So we were looking at, and I never get on Craigslist for that. I've just since retired because nothing ever good came out of finding
Yeah,
a
never.
fiddle player on
Yeah,
Craigslist,
never.
and
Or
we
anything
could
else.
tell you a couple of horror stories of fiddle
I've
players.
been there.
So
been there.
it was this one, and it was like, man, I wish I could remember what he wrote. It was
I'm
from
glad you
Asheville, North Carolina. Just moved to Austin. Basically, it's like it hit me, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So, hey, man, my name's Cody. Just seeing how's it going. What's up? And he sends me back some videos, and I'm like, okay, this is neat. And I'm sitting here like, this is the one that blew my mind because I was already like, let's just try it out, anyways. But the Steven Tyler video is Steven Tyler's playing and Carl's sitting there playing, and I'm like, what? And I'm like,
we can make
there's no way. So I ended up having this acoustic show downtown, and I'm like, hey, do you want to come sit in? Like, it's kind of chill. Like, come on. So he shows up, and in his usual tennis shoes, cargo shorts, and a t-shirt, and is like, here's my cable, plug it in. And we just started playing.
I would have loved to have seen that.
And it was funny.
I love violin players, so.
Oh, well.
It was great. And then we were like, all right, see ya. Well, I was like, all right, see you Friday.
See you tomorrow,
Or
right?
see you Saturday or something like that.
So were you just like, oh my God, like.
Well, at first I thought
I mean,
Carl was
like, this
actually
is-
on drugs of his, nobody plays.
Well, my dad does.
Fiddle like that.
No, my dad does. I've seen it. I
And he
love it.
smokes it. And for me,
Yeah.
the first time, I was like, what?
Well, the first time I played with him, I went home and people told me I didn't hear you play a solo all night, and I was like, "What do you mean? I played like normal?" And what happened was Carl just ate my lunch, so I had to go home and practice.
My favorite between them two.
I love it.
Which we've been
love
working
it.
hard on about. Hey, when he's soloing, that's you. When he solos, that's you. We've
Yeah.
It's
slowly
hard.
but surely been
Yeah.
figuring this out.
Yeah, I was
But-
going to ask you
It
guys.
takes a little while to kind of
It
get it
is.
clicking and stuff, and now we've gotten to a point where you learn how to play with each other, and you learn how to build off of each other, and create a performance.
Yeah.
So
That's exactly what I was going to lead into is the creative process
creative
of
process,
the
oh,
band, because it is a beast. I know. It's a
It might not be as
Lasso.
artistic as you think.
No, I don't mean that. I just mean
Maybe
like
you eat
you've got
wine
strong,
and eat
you've
grapes.
got
Oh yeah, that's
Strong.
called classy.
talented
Classy.
musicians that have all done stuff, and you've brought them together.
Yeah.
That it's a big thing. I mean,
it is.
it is a big thing, and that's what I wanted to know. I mean, like, okay, so we got a sense of how you guys came together. How do you work together? Like, I want to know, how do you collaborate and bring the material together? Is it you? Do you bring the song and then introduce it, or how does it work? Tell me.
Right now, that's how it's been. We have a lot of stuff that needs to be like finished, and like we need to sit down for the next record, for example. We just throw ideas off each other. Like we've already been talking about, hey, we need to take a night and just get together and work on the new songs, throw ideas off each other. Hey, what do you want to write about? Hey, Michael, do you have any riffs that you've been working on?
Yeah.
Anybody, I've asked Carl, do you write any type, do you write lyrically? Do you do this? No. So
Yeah.
it's always there if anybody has ideas or anything like that, why would you say no? At least try it and work it out.
Well, you are a band, and
Right.
you want to bring what you have forward, because if you're not unified, the ship falls apart
Right.
like that anyways, and we've all seen that 100 times.
Titanic
Right.
crashes.
well, how it
Yeah.
usually starts is he'll come forward with some kind of song,
Okay.
and then everybody kind of we usually end up hearing him playing acoustic, and
It shows.
and a lot of times me and Carl will sit in acoustic or whatever, and we'll after playing it a few times, you kind of can figure out what you want to add to it, and then as that song is played live, it evolves. So like 6 months from now, it may be totally
Here,
different.
than
Well,
it was
sure.
here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's what's important. Like I think on the albums is when you need to go out and play these songs before you go and record them, because they become something totally different than what you originally conceived.
That's
so-
that's very interesting. So you don't necessarily like have it dialed and profiled before you bring it.
With this band, Cody gives us the
I
freedom.
love
to kinda,
that.
Cody gives us the freedom to kind of do what we want, and we're not. A lot of my friends play with a lot of these big bands, and they're forced to play what some Nashville guy recorded, and and they want it played note for note, and that's that's okay if they're those kind of artists and they want it done like that. They have they can do that. But what I like about this band is we have the creativity. It gives us the ability to go do whatever we want to do. So.
We're bringing the Grateful Dead to country is what we're doing.
Now,
Without these guys knowing
don't let these guys.
Don't
let them get ahead of themselves because it's not going to turn into a crazy rock show.
No,
I mean,
but
we are still going to stick to our guns.
Go to a dead show.
Michael, I really appreciate his perspective on that because all the years that I've done, been in bands and played and performed and stuff like that, that's a special thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That is a unique thing that you guys have that compatibility, that trust,
Right.
and that you have that freedom. That you don't feel like it's got to be perfect. I guess
It seldom is.
and I think that I think it shows in the music, and I don't want to over speak, but I think that that's maybe a lot of the reason why you guys are doing, really fantastic. I mean, I have to honestly say, just placements on billboards and, Reverb Nation and competition, you know what I mean? It's really happening for you guys.
That's the plan.
It's really sweet. You guys are in the sweet zone. And and I'm super excited, and I'm happy for you guys, big time. So, outside of the music thing, I wanna pop over to a little fan world here. Okay. What do you guys do when you're not doing the music? Because I know you guys are touring. You guys have shows. Every week, multiple nights. You're working on a new album. You just release an album. You guys are hella busy. So, what do you do when you're not doing music? I guess is what I want to say. What do you?
Who you want to start with?
Game of Thrones. A minute. Oh yeah.
Cool, man.
So great. No.
Is that not what you?
This couldn't get any more interesting.
Yeah. So, man, it just depends. I like to go to the movies. I know he likes to go to the movies. That's tough.
I know
we
when
like to go out to.
But it's important that you're doing something.
Downtime.
Yes, it's the downtime thing.
Well, a couple of us. He has a job. He's an engineer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a little different.
You can do that.
Okay, so you
I
are
work,
straight up hardworking, all day.
Well, hardworking, kind of. No, but I like to do stuff. I'm from a small town. I'm from El Campo, Texas, a little town there. I grew up. My family's cotton and Milo farmers. So of course my dad's got a little bit of an engineering background too. So I grew up in the outdoors, liked hunting and fishing.
We all like to shoot.
we all like being out in the outdoors and stuff. So,
We'll
I
get
guess
to you.
we all grew up. Us three grew up in small towns.
Pretty much the
so
same.
The small
Yeah.
town,
Just different parts of
the
Texas,
small
but the
town
same.
vibe. It's
Sure.
kind of about going out with your friends and doing the pasture parties and stuff that we grew up doing. And
Yeah.
and
We like to go to the lake.
Friday night football games.
Outdoor
and
stuff
like
is
that.
what I'm.
Yeah.
You guys like to get out.
Rodeos.
'Cause-
you'll find us at a good rodeo.
Yeah.
Float the river. Nobody
Yeah.
hates floating
Right,
the river.
we go. I work at our grandpa's cattle ranch during the week. We like to go down there and
We have our horses out there.
we got horses. About
Who doesn't
1,100
like to ride
acres, so-
horses?
Yeah,
Right?
we got our horses out there. We'll go have a big barbecue, whatever. Good stuff. Carl's turn. What do you do, Carl?
Carl, what do you do when you're not? When you're not?
What do you do?
What do you do?
I don't know. I don't drink anymore. I've never handled a gun in my entire life. I've been
Yet.
fishing probably It's probably going to happen.
If
4 or
it's
5
reading
times of
books,
fishing.
I can appreciate
It's not
that.
reading books. It's checking
Is
my
it
buddies-
pottery?
Well,
No.
obviously it's not watching Game of Thrones.
It's not watching Game of Thrones. Although House of Cards is good. I do like that.
I watched all the
You know
seasons.
what? have a lot
I
of
watched all
buddies,
those
I have
seasons.
a lot of buddies
Like
in recovery. I like helping people out. I do a lot of volunteer work for senior
you,
citizens.
that's cool.
Yep.
That is
So,
totally cool.
Between that and trying to meet my next ex-girlfriend, things are busy for me. You know know what I mean?
You know, he spends a lot
Well,
of time
you know what?
on Tinder.
What I love about this whole evening is that the rotating into the next segment has just been spectacular because that is what I wanted to talk about. Everybody wants to know about the love life.
Oh,
how
man.
do you how do you date
Cheers, guys.
and record an album, tour all these nights, work together to collaborate, write new material, travel to Oklahoma, travel all over Texas? Like, how does that work?
Well, we don't have good relationships.
Yeah, that,
I have a fantastic.
Seth is engaged.
so that means he's got a
He can start.
fantastic woman
He can start. Seth's engaged.
Yep.
because
Seth
that
can
is
start.
not every gal.
No.
You know,
That
no, it's not. But you know, we've been really good friends. She's one of the first people I met when I moved down here. So we were really good friends for about 4 years, and then you know, I didn't want a relationship because obviously I was doing the music single thing.
Yeah.
And that, but you know, when you get in a relationship, I think you know you have to make it clear that I'm a musician. I want to be traveling a lot. This is what I do. Is that going to be a problem? And of course, she's like, no, it's not a problem at all. She comes to a lot of our shows if they're close, but mileage-wise, we travel more than most bands. I mean,
well, I know.
a lot
I
of
saw
our
that
following's
too.
up
I
in
mean,
the
you're busting all the way up
Panhandle
Stillwater soon and all that. And so
And she hops in the. She'll come with us a little bit.
and she'll
And
jump in the
support.
van. run
Mine
on
and
the
Michael's
table for
ladies
us.
are a little different. And again, it might be the age difference.
That's true.
Because
That's
Melinda's only
23.
Yeah, ours are more settled and not willing to just road dog it and hop in.
No,
they're
like-
not going to do
They
that.
like to,
try
they
to
like to
top
shower.
ramen.
They want
It's weird.
accommodations and we need to shower and all
That's
this.
true.
Well, you just can't.
Yeah.
But if you still want to come, you can come.
you
they're always
you
welcome.
can, but I don't recommend it.
They come to the really cool shows.
They come to the ones that.
when we open for someone big and they get to meet them,
One of the bigger shows they'll show up at, which is good.
No, but they're really supportive.
They're
of
very,
us. Yeah,
very
yeah.
supportive. All three
I
of
mean-
them are very, very supportive.
Yeah,
And-
absolutely.
Because it's a complicated journey
It
for the
is.
other half.
No, it is. And,
I mean,
and again,
take it from me, I know.
yeah, I like to preach patience. And it's hard. It really takes a special type of girl to date someone that is like us.
Well, especially since we accumulate so much music crap. It's like
Yeah.
all of our. I mean, I've got a
Yeah.
house full of guitars,
Yeah.
and
Oh, you mean
mean-
that kind of music?
Oh,
crap.
yeah.
I thought you just meant the drama of
No.
the industry.
I'm
You're
talking
talking
about-
like
No,
physical
I'm talking
stuff?
about beautiful
Literal.
things that I think are beautiful, like an old beat up '60s
Oh,
Stratocaster
I
that
love
looks
it.
like. And she looks at it and she's like, it looks like a dog chewed that thing up, And it's like, but that's
And
like
you're
my. That's
explaining-
like
you're
yeah. I mean,
explaining the beauty of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Which is
so-
Why it needs the corner of the room.
yeah. But she's like, let's stick it in the garage. I'm like, no.
Funny
Honey,
about
that's 5
that.
months rent right
Yeah,
there.
speaking of,
Buy this house with this
I know,
guitar.
sell that thing already.
but which I don't know why she's super into fashion and clothes. Like collaborate. You get that, I get this. Type.
It's pretty hard to deal with, man. I've got a lot of
Exactly.
junk. I've got a lot of
Like it's funny about the gear thing because we just sold our trailer tonight before the show because we
really?
bought a new trailer to
travel?
We had a
Sold two
smaller
trailers.
we had a smaller trailer that was too small. We got another trailer that was too big, so we sold them both to get the right
Just
size,
right.
perfect.
Exactly.
Boom.
Yeah, that's
Thank
And
you.
we
mainly new because the axle
Right,
doesn't
and we
fall off
want-
of this one.
And
Hopefully.
we want it new, and for us to make it our own. But so tonight he came over and brought the van and trailer to my house. The garage is just full
Garage
of
is
trailer.
full.
So when Erin gets home, she's gonna be like, "What in the heck is all this gear?" Because she wants everything like tied and cleaned up. So that's
Yeah, you gotta love those
gonna be,
gals.
it's gonna be real.
I better have another glass of wine, Cody.
I'm not going home.
Yeah.
So as
This
we,
is why you stay single, by the way.
yeah, I know that, Rob.
And always swipe right.
And always swipe right.
Carl does.
It's, yeah,
So
Tinder tip Tuesday.
Tinder tips. It's
Um,
Wednesday, Cody.
as
That was from yesterday.
you guys, seriously, it just been a blast. I knew you would be. I could just after reading the stories, and I was really excited about having you guys. But I want to talk a little bit about. So when you're on stage, and we didn't get to get into too much detail, but I was a little curious as a songwriter to a songwriter. What is it that you're hoping to deliver to your fans? Like, what is it you want them to take away when you guys are up there and you're being vulnerable and you're offering your stories? And I don't mean this really, but you're not like you're a young cat.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
And what I took away from a little bit of my research is that they're all a bit like, there's grandpa and there's family and there's experience and I love that. What is it that you feel like you've given to those folks when they're there? Like when you walk off and you're just like, you know what I mean? Like,
I think like everyone would say, like each show's different. Obviously, we get more energy from a show where people are really in it and like on it, rather than at the back table, having a conversation. One of the first things that I always look for, like trying out a new song and writing and really, I think you're giving a piece of yourself.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what is it you want the people to? What do you want them to take away when you're on stage? Like,
just want them to have a good time.
It's a few different things.
That's what
we want people to dance.
Yeah,
we like dancing people,
and it's good two-stepping.
right?
Yeah,
Sure.
So I look for dancing.
When I was listening, it brought me back. I was like, yeah.
And sing along.
Yeah.
We love it when people sing. One of the greatest feelings is playing a song and looking out and people are singing the words, and that's
Indeed.
even uplifting. Going and playing a show where a lot of people are just like, there.
Yeah, they're
and
just
then
like kind
if
of
you
like
see like 3 or 4 people just singing the words, that makes it so much more intimate and worth it than people just going through the motions.
That is one thing I love about country music is that there's something inviting about when you perform that people feel comfortable to come out and express their love and their joy of music. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have any issues with two-stepping when there's only a little section.
Right.
Or do you know what I mean? Or just like, it's kind of like, it's accepted with that. And it brings a sense of community and like understanding where sometimes a lot of other music types, like people don't really know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like they don't. I don't know how they don't know how to totally engage.
In Texas, our fans like the Texas in the Texas music scene. I think we probably have the best fans that any other genre.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like a lot of the music that we grew up listening to. Me and Carl, the Allman Brothers, the Grateful Dead stuff. They've got some really devoted fans. And you don't see that in a lot of music nowadays. And in Texas, I feel like especially Texas and Oklahoma, they've got some really devoted fans. And, I meet people that come to our shows, and I see. I'm asking where are you from, and they're 200-300 miles away. They came and they drove out to see, and that means a lot, for us.
Yes.
Yeah, we played a show in Oklahoma City,
That's
and
huge.
some people were at a table. Where are you guys from? We came to watch you guys. We drove up. I was like, where'd you drive from? Like Kansas, or
that
and we're like, what?
I have to say, growing up in the industry and knowing what all my dad has been through and that they've been performing for 50+ years. They have fans that have been following them since 1968, 69, and I'll tell you, those folks define who you are as a band, and they define who you will be forevermore, and that is something really special.
Well, if you can play
really special when people drive out to see you.
If you can play a show and gain one fan like that a night, I think that's makes it all worth it.
Yeah,
so.
they stick with it. They're like family. Some people have been coming.
Well, music,
our shows since we weren't very good.
They've stuck through it, and that is the truth.
Through our learning process, through our switching out of musicians.
You know what I think though? I think they love it. That's what I think, and that's why we're doing this, because I think that people love to know who people really are.
And we're not.
They're tired of just this like smoke screen and who are these people? Like, they want to see the process.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Eric and I are doing. We're filming the process. We filmed the process before you guys came. How we prepared, how I studied, what I set up for you. what we had long days all day, right? Both of us, jobs, everything else. But you know what? This is what it's about. This is what it's about. And that's why doing this show is exactly, I think people love that. They love the honesty.
Yeah, it's no bullshit in this.
Yes, it's no bullshit. It's not contrived and overproduced or anything. And that's what I was saying before, like just the fact that you're willing, you bring your songs together and you bring them out and you test them and you work together. You know, I know I'm getting a little emotional here, but like that is my whole world. That's all I've ever known is music. I grew up as a tiny little one on the stage watching my dad perform the hell out of the violin. And once you've seen that, you can't do anything else but love that, right? And that's why I'm here, is because you guys have something fantastic going on. I can honestly say that.
Bug, you never get rid of it.
Yeah.
Once you get a good taste of how good it is to connect with an audience musically.
And you bring them something that
Never go
impacts
back.
their heart
Right.
and moves them in a way is unforgettable.
Right.
Yeah, and that's why I was just when Eric was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna have, let's have Cody Sparks on the show." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, cool." I mean, because we're like hella busy and like booked into December, right? And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, cool." And then when I had a chance to sit back and look at it and read it and listen, I was like, it just took me back to that place why I've always loved what you guys are doing, and that's why I was excited to have you guys.
I think with all of us, when we've been going through this, we play I hate certain shows, like I don't want to play them.
I was just going to ask you that.
But
Yes.
we do it.
You do it.
And
You
it's
do.
hard sometimes.
It
but
is hard.
Those payoff shows are when you're like, oh, that was so worth it. Like playing that hole-in-the-wall gig where no one's there and no one cared. We played to 5 people before.
Oh, shit.
Well, we
but
all
we
have.
played the show, and don't get me
But that's
wrong.
what makes you amazing.
Right. And we
That's what I
Don't
think.
get me wrong.
You know,
we griped
that's
about
where-
it and said,
That's
quit
where the
booking those.
kahunas
That's-
are grown.
Yeah. Don't book that anymore. That sucks. I don't want to play there. I don't either. But if you don't play those, you won't play these, and you won't play that.
Well, you play it. Carl said you play it because that's what you
And
love,
that's
and that's what
exactly
you do.
what you're exactly right.
You know, at the end of the day, if there is no one there, I don't care how many times I play with these guys. We have fun.
Boom. Yep.
We have a good time on stage.
Well, all you're
with
doing
each
is
other.
growing your unit. You're
Exactly.
growing
That's
your
exactly
team,
right. Yep.
and so
That's
it's
exactly
never
right.
looked at. Yeah.
Yep, exactly
So
right.
curious, as Austin, and I know that you guys, some of you are kind of new, right, to the Valley, to the. For those folks that are trying to break in, right, what has been the biggest triumphs and hardships? Like, I want the grit here. I want to know, is it?
I'll give you the
Because it's
hardship.
changed a lot from years
Sure.
before.
Well, it has. Social media and a lot. We don't even have to get into any of that. I think one of the
No, I want to know what is it like out there right now?
We're from the Panhandle, the 806 area code.
Yep.
And there's about 4 or 5 bands that just came out of there that have been blowing up.
Yeah.
And we laugh because we were up there and nothing was happening, so we moved down here. So we get down here and these guys are going.
I
and
know.
we're like,
There.
what? Well, no, like, did
I
we
know
miss our-
exactly what
should
you
we
mean.
have staged? Should we
Yes,
have gone?
it's a hard call.
That's a little bit like, man. But at the end of the day, I'm like, well, if we would have stayed, we probably wouldn't have what we have now.
Right,
Like, we
exactly.
wouldn't
That's
have
true.
Michael, and we wouldn't be here in Austin.
No. and I don't care what anybody says that Austin still has a great ring to it.
It does. And that was the reason why when we first decided, hey, let's move to Austin, because everybody
Yeah.
You're centrally located too, so
Yeah.
if you want to travel,
It's
See, I was going to say,
It's right
I
there.
noticed what you guys are up to.
What?
So, like, what has it been like?
trials.
What's it been like gigging here? Like, give me some insight as far as like,
Up and down.
like in Austin.
yeah.
Gigging in Austin's up and down.
Yeah, well, so like we have like a few places in North Austin that we play. That's kind of more of our. We've kind of gained a little following there. Playing in South Austin, there's really just not a whole lot of venues like there used to be anymore. I think we kind of missed the boat on 6th Street.
Yeah.
You know, the good old days of 6th Street, the Armadillo headquarters. And
Yes.
like we
Yeah.
were hanging out with Gary P. Nunn the other night and talking to him about all the cool stories from back when him and Rusty Weir and and Jerry Jeff Walker and all those guys were playing in Austin, and they moved to Austin for that scene, and it's gotten to the point now where it's these venues just don't want to. They would rather hire a band for little to nothing than hire a quality band that wants to get paid.
That's what I was afraid of too.
Yeah, a lot of these guys, that I play with, that we have to make a little bit of money, otherwise, to keep it worthwhile. But
we don't want to become LA.
Right.
Pay to play.
So
I grew up in that area. I know all about it.
In North Austin, we play a lot in North Austin, and there's some really devoted fans there, and there's some really good people there. I feel like it's a little more small town feel, and they're a little more accepting of our music. So
there for a while, there was a little bar that opened up back downtown. It's called Rebels, and we started playing there, and that was our only really downtown gig. Because unfortunately, it's too hard to go in there and play for 4 hours and make $25 a person. It just doesn't make sense, and that's okay if someone wants to do that.
Well,
that's
I don't even know that you should do it, because it just perpetuates this bad cycle.
Right, and that's why
if somebody's going to do it, then they just think more are going to do it.
We just in Asheville, they're starting to get a musicians union because of all the
amen to that, right?
And they're taking these $30 a head gigs and living
to take away from, and that's right. So we live here. But if we say no, we'll say, well, we can play it for this, well, they'll just say no and find somebody that might be half as talented.
It's a shame because they're good venues.
Right.
there's a lot of really, really good venues in South Austin.
It's an awkward transition.
Again, we're not talking smack on that. It's just not our scene.
No. I think that Austin is in a really weird musical transition to some degree. And I think that's why all these quality bands, is that they're all touring.
Right.
They're all going away, which is so disappointing to me, because there is this beautiful thing about Austin. That's why I started the show last year, is just to kind of try to keep a lot of these Austin bands up front on stage here, because this is where I've been at for a long time too, and this is where I play, and I want everybody else to be too, but unfortunately they're going out.
People are coming in,
Yeah.
trying to just play shows and just play it.
Well, there's a lot of diversity with the music here. I think there's a lot of great musicians that do play here and have established themselves in Austin. But and as far as our scene goes, it seems that a lot of the scene that we play with, the venues that are outside of Austin, are kind of like the Texas country venues. So there is a few in Austin, but you kind of got to go play everywhere, I feel like, and we're gaining the experience doing it, so that it doesn't hurt. We like to travel, we like to get away.
I know, there is something really, I mean, and also there's something really fantastic about the tour.
I love it.
I
love getting
I
on the
just
road.
think that there's air and energy and creative elements that happen when you go out and you bring that home, and that's why you're here. You bring that and
meeting new people.
The mystery of it. What's this venue going to be like?
If we're going to get there.
Are we going to get there? You never know.
It's been the black curse on
I know.
But I think one thing that is good about us is that we're all very genuine people.
Yeah,
And
I can
when
tell.
we meet people, we form relationships with them, and they, I guess you would have to call them fans. I like to call them friends. I'm like, no, they're friends. I guess call it a Texas thing or whatever it is, but we'll meet people and hey, we just want to hang out and be friends. We're not above you. We're just here to play music, and thanks for coming and listening to our songs.
You're just doing what you do, and you're doing what you love.
Right.
And
we're
then you
all
all
out for a good time.
I just think that there's something really special about folks who come together to make great music.
Right.
And I mean, you have language and you have music, and both speak different things. And I've always felt like music speaks both. It's just a universal beauty of everything. And I just want to say how much I've just had a fantastic time with you guys. You are all totally adorable.
Thank you for having me. For sure.
You guys are just. You have a great energy, and I can see why you guys are doing big things. I know you guys, you're scheduled out, You've got a great new album. And I know we can find everything at the website, right?
CodySparksBand.com.
CodySparksBand.com.
There's Facebook. All of it's Cody Sparks Band.
I know.
And I don't even
Which
know.
I love. That's impressive. That's sometimes hard to do.
It's all locked in.
Yes,
yeah,
it's all like
as far as the
Instagram,
websites and
Twitter.
stuff,
Like
yeah.
it's all.
matches.
Woo! I was
Yeah.
impressed by that. That's not always easy to do.
But-
I couldn't even pull that off.
Yeah, I don't even know what other social medias are out there, but we're
Yeah,
right
but you
there.
know what? You guys are doing such fantastic
MySpace.
things. And you have, if you go to the website, you have a full lineup of shows. Like, I was just like, yay! And great, like, great shows. And you guys have worked with incredible people.
And no one's-
The album
oh,
producer,
so great.
working on a new album. Just fantastic things going on. And so I just wanted to say how much I appreciate
We
you
very
guys
much appreciate that. Yeah.
being here on Rhythm and Tone. I mean, I love this.
Yeah.
Love it,
This is
love it,
great.
love it.
Awesome.
And it's, thanks for coming.
Yeah, cheers.
So, let's just, let's get,
Yeah.
okay, ready?
Oh,
Everybody,
yeah.
okay, ready? Come on now.
Sweet
Yeah.
teas.
Woo!